Hi and hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Max and today we will be talking about how to set up a personal studio or a home studio. And this is strictly from my personal experience and some of the feedback that I get from a lot of people, like content creator or other people who have set up their studios. And so I have taken their feedback and compile it with my own experience and handing it out to all of you. So if you are watching this, maybe you just wanna set up how you're planning to set it up in future, or maybe you just want to know, and if you just want to know, it is very good, because even though you do not plan to set up a studio, maybe you can guide someone, maybe in your family or your friends circle. You can give them some tips and advice. So please watch this video till the end. I promise you will learn a lot of stuff, a lot of things that will help you yourself, and maybe help out some other people as well. So and if you're here for the first time, please consider like, subscribe, and leave in a comment whatever question you have. I'll try to answer ASAP. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, before we talk about deep into this topic, we have to talk and understand about some of the pre-requirements, and those are very important. So let's talk about the pre-requirement first. So there are many pre-requirements, but I would consider two things to talk about. The first pre-requirement is about the room. So if you're planning to set up a studio, definitely you have to consider one of your room. So you have to choose a room where you have less echo, and which those rooms which are not directly exposed to sunlight, and then during the rainy season you may have some moisture coming out from there. So try to avoid the walls that can produce such kind of things, because you would be setting up a lot of expensive devices. So these devices are not very compatible, or not very good when it is exposed to direct sunlight or into water. So I would highly suggest a room which where you can fit an aircon. Right now I'm using an aircon to cool my room, and then at the same time use the aircon fan to exhaust the hot air to go out in my other side of the door. So you have to think and consider where your air have to exhaust. So you can plan, maybe create a hole somewhere in your room, and then put an exhaust fan, and then whenever your computer produce a lot of heat, then the fan would just push out the hot air. That way you can maintain your room very cool. So this is one of the things we have to consider about the room. Now the second thing I want to talk, the pre-requirement, is about the table and the chair. A lot of people might skip this, may not think it is very big deal, but as you start using your studio, you will realize at some point of time that it is very necessary. As for me, I have realized it long time ago, but I did not have the means together to get all these things, because of my room is very small size, and even though I need a table which is like a large size, I don't have a place to fit in. But if you are considering setting up your own studio, I would advise you to get a table which is at least large enough to put your 4K monitor, and then you would be able to put 2 keyboard, because when you run your studio for a long time you may need dual keyboard, and enough space to put your mouse pad. Especially nowadays the mouse pad are like pretty large, so you might consider buying a large mouse pad because you can navigate it very easy, especially for those gamers. So that's the other things. And lastly, when we talk about the table, you also have to consider about using a proper chair. So my highest recommendation is get a office chair, those office chair which are with the adjustable height. I personally like office chair, but where I'm living it's too expensive, so I did not think it's valuable for me to spend like a huge amount of money to buy office chair, where I can afford this gaming chair which I got yesterday at half price of the office chair. So maybe in your place office chair are cheap, or you can even get a used office chair. I would recommend you to get that. So why is the chair very important? Maybe I can explain in another few seconds, just bear with me. So whenever you're using a standard chair, your chair may be like lower, very low, or maybe higher than your table. Okay, so when you are sitting down for like 8 hour a day, and you have to work like for a year, you know what will happen when your chair is like low, the table is high, you're using your hand, your mouse to do stuff like keyboard. At the end of the day, when you keep like using for a long time, your wrist will end up hurting and you will have a problem later in your life. This is my experience with a lot of people complain about this. So if it is too high, then you end up typing like this because your chair is too high, and the same problem would happen here. So normally, even if you get a chair which is at level, even you type this, the last thing that would happen to you is your back pain. But the back pain may take a year to come up. That symptom may not come up very easy. So as for me, I'm using a standard chair for like a year, and I kind of start developing a little symptom that shows I have some back ache. So I have to get this thing very fast. So before you started, or if you have already started, please consider getting a chair which have its height adjustable, and then it has a comfort, you know, bag to support your actually back, and then you can lean back whenever you are bored. So this is my pre-requirement, those two things. Okay, we just talked about the pre-requirement. Now let's talk about who would benefit from this video. If you are a content creator, a YouTuber, a professional, a photographer or videographer, making a video, making a movies, or maybe you could be just a person who work from home for a company, work from home, or maybe you are a professional person who would like to do a lot of presentation. You have your class, either you're attending the class or you are you're a lecturer, or maybe you are a resource person presenting your screen, or maybe you are just a gamer, Twitch or live stream, or maybe just doing your own content. Whoever you may be, if you're watching this video would definitely help you. So once again, if you are not going to set up a studio yet, if you watch this video, it will enrich your knowledge, and maybe somebody in your family, your friend circle, or maybe your community, people around you would like to, maybe they're trying to do something and they're not very skilled, or they're not very knowledgeable. Maybe you can impart them with some wisdom from this video. So please continue to watch this video till the end, so you will get something out of it. As for the main requirement, we would be having three things. The first is a computer to process our data, and the second one would be a capture device, which may be a camera, GoPro, maybe your phone, things like that. And the third thing would be a software to combine whatever you capture using your computer, to combine, compile, compress, whatever you call it, and then later on you upload this file, whatever you convert it into your online, maybe YouTube, something like that. So those are the three requirements we will be talking about, and I will be going through each of these stage in my computer. So let's go. Today we will be building two type of computer desktop. We will be assembling it together, and this would be very, very beneficial for those people who are who just kick started, that is the low end budget and the mid end or the high end budget. So if you are planning to start and you are low in budget, so you can follow the low end budget that I will be putting out in this video. Just close your eyes, just follow, and you should be fine. You should be able to edit your 4K, play, stream your gaming online, and in 1080, even in 140 should be fine. So that's for the low end. And if you are already using a low end spec and you want to upgrade, you can still you can refer to the mid range, which is pretty high already at this time of the year. You can use it for high-end gaming to play your games in like very ultra settings, as well as you can do your 4K video editing, stuff like that. Very easy. You can render it very fast, and you should not have any problem using the mid-range suggestion that I will be giving out here. So let's see, let's start with the low end, then we gradually go up. Okay, I am in a partpicker.com. Even you can try out the let's see, let's try to assemble it. I'll be choosing a CPU, and since we are just starting off with the low end, let's go with the AMD Ryzen 5 3600. So let's AMD. So this is the one we will be going for the low end budget, because this is pretty cheap, and it have 6 core, and then it have enough thread to run your rendering and your gaming stuff. So this is pretty good enough for, and it can even throw whatever you throw in, this will be able to process. So this is pretty good enough. So let's choose this, and this is in US dollar, so don't worry about the price. Later on we'll just convert it. So we'll just add this. Okay, we have added, and this moment let's skip for motherboard, and what should be used for motherboard? Let's try to use see if B550 WIFI ATX. The motherboard actually depends on your casing. Like if you want to build the full tower, or you want to build a mid tower. So if you're building a full tower, you can choose any form like ATX or even micro should be fine. However, if you are building like the mid tower, you have to consider, actually check whether it will be able to fit or not. So as for this, I think we can just throw in the MSI should be fine, or SO should be fine. So let's throw in because we will try to reduce the price, the motherboard price. So for the mobile, let's just pick the cheap one. 550 is very decent actually. So because right now the latest is 570, 550 should be very decent enough for your because you can even upgrade in the future. 550 is still good. So 150. Okay, I found B550 with Wi-Fi, and then this is a micro ATX, which means you will be able to fit this motherboard in the mid tower, so which is very useful, and you can actually shrink your casing and should be smaller in size. So let's choose this, and the price is reasonable at $110, which is very good. So far no issue found, pretty good. And then memory it doesn't matter for this. We will go with the range. It should be at, I think, 3200. Speed should be fine. Yeah, these are all 3200. And because whether you're using Adobe product or DaVinci product or Resolve or any other, most of the time your memory, lots of memory will be used to do your rendering and caching, especially when you are using your graphic to do a lot of your rendering. So let's use 16 gig. So 16 gigs should be more than sufficient to support for low-end budget. But if you're running really low on budget, you can cut down 16 to 8 gig. 8 gig should be more than enough. But for the sake of this video, let's choose 16 gig. Okay, we'll be choosing Corsair Vengeance. This is with RGB, a lot of fancy lights. So if you love RGB, this is your ideal choice. And it also have a good rating, and the price is reasonable. It's just $100, so it should be fine. And there we go. We don't find any compatibility issues again. Let's choose a storage. Storage is very important when you choose. And again, storage, even though it is important, it actually depends on your budget. So if you have a bit extra budget, I would suggest you to go for like the PCIe slots, because the motherboard support the PCIe slots. You can go for the M.2 NVMe, which are a bit expensive. These are the NVMe SSDs. These are the fastest and very expensive. But if you are really low on budget, you can just buy the standard SSD, or if you're very low on budget, you can just buy the hard drive. So you have the hard drive, the standard SSD, then you have the NVMe, and then which are the PCIe, which is I think PCIe 4.0 is the latest right now. So we will just for this build, I will just choose the cheapest PCIe. It may be still expensive, even though I say it's cheapest. Okay, I take back my word. PCIe is super expensive. 512 gig, it costs about $200. So this is too expensive. So let's stick with the standard SSD. So this is NVMe 2. So let's go with $100. We found one, which is 1 TB Western Digital Blue for $100, which is good enough, I think. This M.2, yeah, and this is the, I think the latest, yeah, should be 2280, yeah. So we just added 1 TB, which is more than sufficient, and and you can expand it later on if you need. So video card, this is very controversial because of the mining industry, the Bitcoin mining that is going on, and everyone buy out all the GPUs in the market. So we are getting a lot of GPU shortage. Not only that, the price are skyrocket now, and even if you have money, you cannot buy because there's no product available online now. and I myself want to buy a 3080 GTX 3080, but I don't get. So I'm just kind of waiting. So if you are like me, I think you have to wait. We have to still wait for a long time. But for the sake of this video, because this is a low budget and I figure out there is another GPU which is very good, and later on, if the GPU market is back to normal, you can just sell this one and buy a new one, or even you can convert this one into some other things. So let's see what video card we have. Okay, I found it. It's a GeForce. It's GTX 1660. This is the best bang for your buck. It's about $500. Anyway, so far we are good, and let's see what is missing. Okay, monitor. I will not talk about monitor, but I will just roughly give some idea what kind of monitor you should buy. If you're into a gaming, monitor might be, you just go for a less fast response monitor. The size doesn't matter, it's up to you. As long as you have the budget, should be fine. However, if you're going for editing, 4K editing, rendering, and you want to do something like what I'm doing right now, recording using OBS and stuff like that, you may need 4K, even 2K screen monitor, or if you can afford 4K is pretty expensive, but if you can afford it, get it. But if you cannot afford 4K monitor, get at least 2K monitor, because when you are editing, it will really make your editing faster, smooth, and it will save you a lot of time. Because if you have a small size like 1080 into 2, or maybe a small size, if you try to put them together, sometimes it's a bit difficult. You'll know, you'll notice there will, like, small problem can happen. But having one single screen, large screen, can really give you the feel, especially when you are editing a 4K video. After you edit, you publish, I mean, when you play back, okay, when you play in your screen, it will give you the true 4K, what people would be expecting and what they will be seeing. If you are using a small screen to play 4K, you may not even notice the difference. And if your video is not very good, you made some mistake, maybe wrong color grading or something like that, sometimes this, because of the small size screen size, you may miss something. But if you have a big screen, you will hardly miss it. So this is my experience. I'm using a 2K monitor, and it really helped me. So just a tip and advice before you buy. And so we will just keep the monitoring. And for the operating system, Windows 11 is coming. Stay tuned. But spoiler alert, that's the spoiler alert. So if you are just using a Windows, just use Windows 10, just should be fine. Anyway, I'll not cover these two, and power supply we will check later on, because we still have to get our CPU cooler, which may consume some power. And then so let's get the CPU cooler first. As for a CPU cooler, we will be going with a water cooler, or what you call a liquid cooler. And I have selected NZXT, and I found NZXT is very, I mean, they're top of the market, top of the performance, and I really like them. And I am planning to get the latest one, but in the low end budget, I will not talk about that. We'll just pick the old version, but which are pretty good for this low end budget. So the X version are a bit old, however the performance is still at the peak. So we will go with the NZXT, and remember we are going to use 240 or 280 because we choose our motherboard. I think it was micro. So we are planning to build a mid tower with a smaller motherboard, and we have to choose the smaller size for the CPU cooler. So the CPU cooler, the smallest size, I think it's about 240, and either you can go for a 240 or 280, should be fine. So again, it depends on your price, what how much you're willing to pay. So I'm trying to cut to the lowest price possible, which is $100. So 122, 119, 63. So let's go for this one. So it can go up to 2000 RPM, which is good enough. So 280. Okay, let's see. If 280 don't fit, we choose the 240. So far you see there's no compatibility found, so we are good. And last thing, we will choose our casing, and then we'll choose a power supply. Or maybe we can even choose a power supply. So how do we choose a power supply? Very simple solution. I'll give you here. If you go up here, you can see, like, if you click here, it will show you how much each of the things consume your power. So this is like 289 watt. So this is how much you need for your computer. And at this moment we're going to multiply, because if you're processing a lot of data and doing a lot of rendering, multitasking, this power the power unit may increase. So if you consider this as 289, and then if you're adding, make it like 300, okay, to be on safe side, make it 300, and you add 50% of 300, 150. So make it 450. 450 is the minimum power supply you would need. However, we just want to play safe, so we're going to go with above 450, maybe around 550 or 650, but let's see what we get. Let's choose the most optimal one. Okay, I have selected the Corsair brand, and then we will try to choose a full modular. You can see there's a full, no, semi. So I'll go with full modular, because full modulars will have almost to no wiring. So when it comes to cable management, full modulars are very useful to make it more clean cut. So I love full modular. So you can they are a little expensive comparing to the other one. However, we're good. We're good. So we will go with full modular. Okay, I have selected this one with full modular, Corsair 2018 version, and this is only 550 watt. If you can see, it's only 550. So let's add this. So, and it's the cheapest, $94. So we add it, and boom, no problem. And finally, the casing. And again, the casing depends on you what kind of casing you want. Maybe some of the people likes to buy a very glossy casing. Some of them like to buy very solid build. Some of them like to have a sturdy build. So it all depends on you, but make sure you understand the airflow. So when you're building, where your air has to go in, absorb, like if you want to do the like the push and pull, or sometimes you will have a pull and then push out. So there are a lot of methods you can set it up, but I will not talk about that one. Maybe we can talk about that one in different videos, but for this we will just choose some casing that may be compatible with what we just buy. Well, I just choose the NZXT again because I know I've known them and they have a very good reputation, so I just choose it, and here we are. I am going to select the cheapest one because we just want to cut down the price for low end budget, and this is about $66. Let's choose the black version. And remember, this is the mid tower. I'm selecting mid tower. If Yeah, mid tower casing, because it has to match our other components. So the accessories I will not choose. So this is the final price, about $1,342. So if you're living in US, this is the price you have to pay. And if you're living in some other part of the world, just multiply the amount by the currency of your country. So if you're watching from India, so you can just like USD to INR and just put the price. Oops, what is this? Change to English. Sorry, guys. It's about approximately 1 lakh. Okay, this is 1 lakh, and the most expensive thing from here is the graphic card. So if you don't want to spend this much amount, you don't have this much budget to buy, then you can actually cut down the graphic card and buy it later on. Maybe just buy a very cheaper graphic card than this. But this is my recommendation for the low end budget. So I cannot go lower than this actually. This is 2021, so it is what it is. Hey guys, to speed things up, for the high end or the mid-range PC build, I just compile everything in the list, and you can see that, and this is what it is. Maybe I can just go through quickly. So the first thing, I picked up the AMD Ryzen 9 5900 over 5090, because 5090 is a bit expensive and do not give much performance as compared to the price. So I stick with this, and this already have enough core to do all your biddings, so which is very good. So you should not have an issue for next maybe 4 or 5 years. As my experience right now, the computer that I'm using, I have been using it for 5 years, and not only 5 years, like 5.5 years, and it's still working. I can process my 4K videos, stuff like that. So with Ryzen 9, the future is bright. So for a cooler, again, I'm going for NZXT, and they're the best. For MSI, sorry, for motherboard, I'm going for MSI Mac 5070 with the ATX, and this include Wi-Fi 6. So this should be pretty fair and pretty good. So for motherboard, if you want a future proof, this is the thing. So, and this would have a lot of the PCIe slot if you guys are interested in working on the PCIe side. And people, especially people who are building your NAS home, so this might be very useful. And the other thing for memory is the same. I'm choosing the speed 3600 over 3200, because why not make use of the RAM speed when you are already paying this much heavy price, and you are buying all the things which are kind of latest. Why not make use of it? So if you can, if you like to use make use of the speed, then get 3600. Should be fine. There shouldn't be any problem. And for the storage, I really want to buy NVMe, the PCIe, but they are super expensive. So I end up choosing the NVMe for 1 TB, and if you have enough money, just get 2 TB. For the storage, I am choosing the cheapest for NVMe. So I found I don't know what you call it, ADATA, ADATA. They're pretty cheap, and comparing to other, you can get around $100 1 TB, which is fair enough. And the performance is not bad. Read write speed, everything is like you won't feel the difference. So with this price, this is the best. And for video card, I just picked up 3080, and this is really making the whole thing come down to a big chunk of price. Okay, so if you guys are not comfortable using this graphic card because of the price, you can remove it and use the previous graphic card that I suggested, yeah, which was GTX 1660 Super. So that one you can even use with this. It should be good enough to do all your 4K bidding. So with that said, I just add this because this is my get got to get list. So if you like me just waiting, I think it's worth the wait. And uh you can see like $2,500 is super expensive. Well, for the casing, I love RGB, and then I love red borderline, stuff like that. So I'm using this mid tower casing, and these have a very efficient airflow, and assembling this tower was very easy. So I'm going for this. And the other thing, power supply, as usual, I calculated, and based on that, I'm taking the full modular from the and this seems to be pretty good. It's a gold standard, and that's it. And the price came close to 4,000. Wow. And if you have to convert the Indian rupee, it comes around 2.9, which is like 3 lakhs. However, don't be surprised, everything is high because of this graphic card. So if you remove the graphic card and recalculate the price, it should be pretty decent, which should be around 1 lakh. Am I right? 10 lakhs or 1 lakh? Yes, well, just 1 lakh and 8,000. So which is very close to the previous one. But so remember, in the previous one with graphic card, it comes around 1 lakh. This is without graphic card, comes around so it comes around 1 lakh. But if you just want to build a system and wait for your graphic card, just go with this, build your system, use some crappy graphic card for now, wait for it, and then once it is launched, once you get your graphic card, put it back. That should be very decent. I'm using the same process to build my PC for my 4K, and it should be able to even edit your 8K without any hassle. So that's it, guys, for those two PC build. The guide that I put up, it's up to you to choose whichever you feels like. Hey guys, here is a bonus tip from me. If you're setting up a studio, remember to create a shelf where you can put your unboxing stuff like that, so it look a bit professional. And yeah, this is just a tips. Mine is not the best because I don't have all the shelf. I just stack it up. So take it and leave, it's up to you. And here is a little display about the plants. As you can see, I got a cactus and I don't know the other plant. I just put it so it kind of makes the background picture a bit better when you take a video or do some coverage. So this is another tips. I hope you can set up better than mine. So just a tip. Hey guys, that's it for today's first part of the video, and for the second part we will be talking about what are the capture device that we need it for our to set up our home studio. So what are the what kind of cameras or what kind of capture devices, like a GoPro or action camera, or maybe even talk about drones and things like that, and based on the situation, what are the things that we need. We will talk about that in the second video, so please stay tuned. Thank you for watching the part 1. Till then, take care, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you and bye bye. See you.